Many thanks for your company here. We're coming to you live from digital address GA0992539. I'm Benis Abubedu. Now, there's pressure mounted on President Akufo-Addo to withdraw the controversial Ghana-US military cooperation deal ratified last Friday. Civil society, security experts, opposition political parties and other well-meaning Ghanaians have largely spoken against the deal and are demanding a renegotiation or a total cancellation of the pact. The Ghana First Patriotic Front is the latest group mounting pressure on government in a mammoth demonstration to rescind its decision as regards the defense deal with the US. Thousands of people have been participating in the ongoing demonstration, which is expected to end at the Hatterfolk Park soon. Here is former Vice President Pakwesi Misa Arthur speaking to Joy News.
Why are you part of this demonstration?
Because I'm a Ghanaian, and I also feel for the issues that face this country.
Well, former Member of Parliament for Ablekuma Central, Theophilus Setechai, and former MP of Nantal, Murtala Mohammed, have also been speaking to Joy News, insisting the president has sold out the country's sovereignty to the US.
We are fighting a very good cause, a cause that is in the interest of the entire citizenry of this country. And so therefore, each and every one here is here because he believes that the sovereignty of this country need not to be toyed with. And that is what...
But we had a parliament for which you were part of. Now, of course, you're a former member of parliament. Approve of this. A sovereign institution of our country approve this. How does it make it inconsistent to what the beliefs and objectives of the Ghanaian people are?
You see, in parliament, there is always a majority, there is always a minority. The minority will have its say, the majority will have its way. So that is what has occurred. The minority made it clear that they do not support this agreement. And that was shown in the report, that was shown in the disapproval, that was exhibited on the floor of the House. And we need to applaud the minority in Parliament for listening to the voice of Ghanaians.
Meanwhile, General Secretary of the CPP, Kwame Jantwa, implores the president to intervene.
Government should stand up, seeing the mayhem is causing, withdraw it for now. Withdraw it for us to have some peace. Because the more it goes on, the more these challenges are going to happen. And it's not good for our country. I don't think Ghanaians are ready for any violence in this country. Right. And, you know, looking across board, a lot of Ghanaians have opposed this agreement. Right. And I think, for me, Parliament didn't do a good job. They didn't do a good job.
With the agreement?
Yes, for anything at all. For anything at all. They should have withdrawn it and reconsidered. What actually I don't understand is that the president is who? He is head and chief of the armed forces.
Right.
This agreement has got to do with the armed forces. Why was he quiet? Why haven't we heard the president say anything?
Perhaps the defense minister has been giving some explanation.
Please, no. No. This has got to do, this is rise right head on the president's lap. He's head of the military. And something like this, he should come and say something to the people who voted him there.
But of course, he's also giving the mandate to the defense minister.
What has happened?
Probably the defense minister is doing his bit.
What has happened? The defense minister has been talking. What has happened? What are we seeing now? If the president, you see, and it happened in John Mohammed's time. It happened in Mills's time. It happened in Kufuor's time. It happened in Rawlings' time. Why do we cocoon our presidents? Why do we cocoon them? When they come into power, they are there to serve us. They are supposed, when things like this come, we need to hear from the president. He is the head of the country.
Right.
He leads the country.
So you are expecting the president to come out and say something?
I expect him to
at least calm tempers.
He is the. You think if the president came and said, "My fellow Ghanaians, yes, ABCDE is the reason why we've gone into this. I take responsibility of, you know, signing this agreement and going into partnership with the Americans because of XYZ, and cite some examples that can calm the nerves of Ghanaians."
Okay.
To date, we haven't heard the president say anything.
Let's now get an update on that demonstration. My colleague Maxwell Akbakba is with the demonstrators. Maxwell, where are you now and what can you report?
Well, we finally converged at the Hart Park. Some notable personalities and politicians had opportunity to address the crowd. They just finished with that, but the supporters, the demonstrators are still hanging around here at the Hart Park. They've not left. Some of them are still hanging around here. We still have some police officers also here making sure that it still maintains sanity even after the official program, it's over. But for some of the people who have been addressing the crowd, mounting the podium to address the crowd, we have the PNC chairman, Bernard Mona, and he has been saying that the Ghana Police Service was professional today. He says the Americans here will have the agreement would actually give unfettered access to the Americans. He says America has interest in Ghana's oil, and that they would actually bring warships here to take away our oil. He said the NPP has actually sold our sovereignty for $20 million, and he had the supporters here, the demonstrators here, hailing him as he made those statements. We also had a founder of the APC who is serving notice that he's heading to court on the cooperation agreement. He says by the close of the day, his lawyers will be filing a suit in court. He says the deal states that the American soldiers only need an ID card to have access to Ghana, but the president of Ghana actually requires a passport to visit the U.S. He says that makes the deal outrageous. We also had Dr. Ezinata Rawlings, member of parliament, addressing the crowd here. She says she says any agreement that is for cooperation must be beneficial to all. She questioned why the American soldiers will want immunity. She says the agreement must be renegotiated. Another person who had the opportunity to address the crowd was the deputy minority leader, James Nuchi Aveji, who says their walkout was because the president, as stated by the Constitution, did not execute the agreement himself. He says Parliament could not make any amendment to any part of the agreement, and he says that was the reason why they walked out during the ratification process. In Parliament, we've been interacting with some ordinary Ghanaians who also came here to take the demonstration. One of the key things we've been picking from them is that they are against what they call the sale of Ghana's sovereignty to the United States, and that was the main reason why they came here to demonstrate against the cooperation agreement between Ghana and the U.S. Bank.
Maxwell, so what have the leaders of this particular demonstration been telling you with regards to their next step?
You mean what's the next step?
Yes, what have the leaders been telling you about their next step?
Okay, well, the information we are learning today that there will be a replication of the demonstration across all the 10 regions, across all the other 9 regions of Ghana. The organizers tell us that that is in the offing, and very soon they are going to roll out that plan also. So that's one thing to look out for. They're saying that they are taking this to all the other regions of Ghana, and they're going to fight this until the agreement is renegotiated or withdrawn, Bennett.
And apart from demonstrations, do they speak of any other steps they're going to take in getting the president to withdraw this agreement?
Well, some of the participants of the demonstration are saying that if push comes to shove, they'll be heading to the court. And already the founder of the APC of Congress has actually served notice that he'll be headed to the court. Hassan Aiga told us that his lawyers are getting ready to actually file a suit in court. So that's something to look out for. Some of the participants, the demonstrators we've been talking to, are also telling us the same thing. So really, they are telling us that if push comes to shove, they'll head to court or continue with the demonstration and the government withdraws the cooperation agreement or make a great amendment to the agreement.
Finally, Maxwell, you've been with the demonstrators from the Obra Sport all the way to their final destination. What would you describe this particular demonstration as?
Sorry, come again. There's so much noise here.
I can imagine. All I'm asking is, what will your description be for this particular demonstration? You've been with the demonstrators from their start-off point, that's the Obra Sport, all the way to the final destination.
Well, in the morning when they started converging at the Obra Sport, they were in their tents, but gradually the numbers increased to hundreds, and then it doubled. It increased again to thousands. That was when the demonstration itself started. What happened was that vehicular, movement was temporarily, blocked because at a point in time, the demonstrators find them, just sitting in the middle of the road. For those, for people who were heading to the Central Business District, they had to spend a longer time in traffic. Some of them actually had to make the journey to their workplaces on foot because their vehicles just couldn't move through, the thick crowd, the murmur crowd that gathered, for the demonstration. So for people who use the principal streets, the Central Business District up to the National Theatre area, they really had a difficult time getting to their workplaces, today. The police themselves also had a difficult time. At a point, the demonstrators, there was, a fracas between the demonstrators and then the police, but they were able to resolve it. It didn't turn into physical because some of the demonstrators were saying that the police officers protecting them were actually members of the invisible forces. But the leadership of the the leadership of the organization that organized the demonstrations were able, they were able to calm them down and then, convince them to move ahead. So that's why, any confusion that could have happened.
Thank you very much for the details. Maxwell Agbagbade bringing us some live updates on that particular demonstration, which is quickly rounding up. Currently, the demonstrators have arrived at the Hearts Park, where we know will be their final destination. But still related to that, Deputy General Secretary of the NDC, Kwaku Anyidoho, spent the night in BNI cells. Mr. Anyidoho was charged with treason after he was picked up by police yesterday for making some comments. His lawyer, Kojoga Adowudu, tells John News he's yet to meet his client. He spoke to me a while ago.
I'm on my way now to the police headquarters.
Okay.
So that I will have engagement with the police and know what is happening.
So
if
have
I
you been
have
allowed
access to my client, then we will know what we can do.
Okay, so from what you're saying, I get the sense that you haven't seen him, but are you aware of his welfare?
Oh, as of yesterday, I can only speak to that. But as of today, I don't know where he was kept, where he slept. I don't know. All I know is that he was handed over to the BNI. So where they are keeping him as of now, I can't tell.
And they are not willing to give you information on that?
They are not. Nobody is willing to give me information as of now. If they will give me any information, that's why I'm getting to the police and find out what the information. If they also tell me they don't have any information, then we will know what to do.
And your client is being charged with treason. We've heard from the opposition NDC, which he belongs to. They think that this is, in his own words, I'm referring to the General Secretary of the NDC, says is a storm in a teacup. What do you make of all of this?
If you know the definition of treason and what constitutes treason, you don't need to be learned in the law to know that what they are saying is committed and the offense, what they have to prove. It will be a tall order, and for them to prove that there's treason. Treason, you need to prove that the person connived with other person or a state to levy war against the state, to overthrow all organs of government, to suspend the constitution and parliament or all organs of government. So it is not just any punishment. Treason can also lead you to, that's high treason, and can lead you to suffer punishment, death. And it is not only, even the process alone, it is not only one judge who will sit on the matter.
We'll bring you more updates on that as we expect lawyer for Kwaku Anyidoho to give us some information on what he's able to gather at the police headquarters. Do stay with us for details on that. Well, our reporter here, Latif Idris, is expected to spend another day at the hospital for further medical examination after he suffered some brutality at the hands of policemen at the CID headquarters on Tuesday evening. In pain on his hospital bed, he complained of severe abdominal, waist and chest pains. Latif Idris managed a few words with the news team when we checked up on him this morning.
So I got to the CID headquarters at around 6:50 p.m. and I was getting ready to do live on Joy News Prime with him, this camera technician Joel. So I called him and he told me he was on the second floor of the CID main building. So I walked inside. Then I called him again. He told me he'd come out. So I had to join him outside. I got outside and I called him again. Then I saw him standing about some few yards away from me. So I was going there, then I said, no, let me just do some enquiries. And then, so I approached one officer who was standing in front of one of the crowd control vehicles.
It was inside the compound?
Outside.
Outside.
In front of the main gate. I asked him if they have any special name for the crowd control vehicle. Then, in a very rude manner, he said in a can that I should get off. Free me so because I said anaju na baby same Kennedy in a can. I got embarrassed, so I turned and I was walking away and I said, "Oh Charlie." Oh Charlie, the "oh Charlie" I said was my offense. He held my shirt, pulled me back and slapped me in the face. He came and held me again. "Who are you? I'm talking to you," and you're telling me, "Oh Charlie." And then pushed me to a crowd of police officers who had gathered in front of them.
How many of these police officers?
There were a lot of them. There were lots.
Can you put a number to them?
For those gathered in front of the headquarters, there were more than 20. So he pushed me into them. They didn't know what was going on between the two of us. But I don't know, they all started beating me, slapping me here and there. So I shouted and called him, Joel. Joel, he came and I asked him to start filming. He raised his camera and he started doing something. Some of them also pounced on him and pulled him away. So then they pushed me into the main building and it got crazy.
So all this happened outside?
Yeah.
Outside there?
What I narrated happened outside in front of the main CID headquarters. Then they pushed me into the main compound and it was nasty. Everybody, they were just joining in numbers. Whoever comes, slaps, hits me, kick me with the foot.
Were they questioning you? What?
I kept telling the one who was leading this whole thing that, can you ask the guy who started this whole thing what I've done to him, what crime I've committed? They wouldn't.
We wish Lateef Idris all the best. Well, the charge of treason against Mr. Kwaku Agyedoho has raised a lot of reactions, but what exactly does the Constitution say about it? Exactly what our 1992 Constitution says about the charge that's been put against Mr. Kwaku Agyedoho. Just to let you know that the initial charge was high treason, then later changed to treason. But what exactly led to all of this? Here's the story so far. story because there are other developments coming. Let's head to Facebook now. Former President John Dramani Mahama has commented about this issue on Facebook. Now, he says, quote, as a party that prides itself in the non-criminalization of speech, with a self-acclaimed human rights activist as president, the arrest of K. Anyidoho with armed men in the middle of a press event is obviously disproportionate. More so, the high-handed police response to innocent citizens waiting at the CID headquarters is condemnable. Let's just pick a few reactions to that. He's got 312 shares. Stephen Owusu says, President John Dramani Mahama, your style of leadership shall follow you and speak for you. Your legacy will make you honored locally and internationally. We'll always remain proud as Ghanaians to have you as our president. He says, kudos. But Kuma Thomas says, see who is talking. Have you forgotten that under your watch, Mr. Japon was arrested and charged with genocide, high treason and all that? And what was done to supporters at the police headquarters? You've so soon forgotten. He calls him Mr. Bulldozer. Keep quiet if you have nothing to say. Hypocrisy and dishonesty. You forgot about the Let My Vote Count Alliance demo where people, okay, one person lost his eye because of the police brutality. You were in charge. Today, you have the mouth to talk. So those were some reactions to former President Mahama's reaction to the arrest of Koko Anyidoho. We'll take a quick breather here on Joy News Today. Do stay with us. We've got more for you. Hello, thank you so much for staying on Joy News Today. Now to our story for Ghana Month series. We take you to the town, Jamestown, here in Accra, to unravel the history behind the Ga Kenke and how it's prepared. Here's a report by Joy News' Forgive Amedeka.
There are many tribes in Ghana with over 50 languages in the country. Ga is one of them and a preferred name for the heterogeneous people of Accra. The Gas are closely related to the Adangbe people to the northeast of Accra. The staple food of the Gas is the popular Ga Kenke.
What are going to be a coating or share to me? Who will below your ten. I'm going to be blessed for back. Never how Tony, I told a come here. You are come here and I tell you, what can you what bread will have been there? Okay, where I come here and you are Berekeba. You are going to bar. Eh, what the work will come here? Keba, okay, who come here, no, it's all. Come here, how was it? She says, what's on the OT?
Kenke is particularly enjoyed with a ground chili pepper and a black sauce locally known as shito. It can, however, be served with other soups and stews. I will take you on a journey on how the Ga Kenke in the Jamestown community of Accra is prepared.
Noko tumo communicate gamani eni na lo ka ne ke gamani eni aba fo abele ka fo abele e wa 3 days ka lo ye nu ka lo e ba ka te choni e na akewo be choni egben ka choni egbelele ba akenu emi sile sesi ani machoni esisi ke ka mis fe ka lo ka wo gagba ke ba mash wa yigbiete o gbiete ke ka sa ti ba ti no ka chi na ebe ke ka titi ba ka wo sesiem ke ka sa ke memis e futu ko ke ka titi a woni gagba ke ka abo to be na ti o me ka abo ba ke malam Wakato that they say me after 6 hours say ebe kagbe na die
Kenke prepared in the kitchen also provides employment and income for the local farmers and retailers, as well as for those who work in the corn mill. As it is a favorite food among the Ga people, it is popularly said that if a Ga does not eat kenke during the day, then he hasn't eaten at all.
That's some education for you if you didn't know the history of Ga kenke. And also if you were wondering what to have for lunch, hope we were of some help. We'll take a quick breather now for business news.